Okay guys, here we go. So what you're gonna need to do the camo tumbler in glitter, I've got my glitter color choices. Let me get this a little more up here where you guys can see. Okay, so we've got our glitter color choices. We've got, this one is a brown. I think I got this one at Michael's. So we have brown, light gold. This one is champagne gold. Got it at Walmart. Onyx from Walmart. And then I also have Forever and Always glitter, and the color is money. Okay, so that's the color we've got. And then you're also gonna need your Mod Podge of choice. This is the one that I currently have some left of, so this is the one that I'm using. You're gonna need a paintbrush to be able to paint on your dots. And then you're also going to need a plate to put your Mod Podge in. So let's get started. So for each individual color, you really don't need very much Mod Podge. As you can see, I've got just a little dollop here on my little plate, and that'll be enough to do what I'm trying to do, and probably a little more. All right, so this is the cup that I am working on. I went ahead and I've already done my green layer because I really wanted it to be dry before we got to the next part. Now for this, all I done was go in and paint random blobby shapes in the Mod Podge, and then sprinkled the glitter over top of it, just like we're gonna do for the rest of it. But I wanted to show you guys this part first so that you can see the base of what I'm starting with. And like I said, this is pretty much just it. But I am gonna go through real quick and rub the excess green off. For the most part, it doesn't really stay in the spaces that don't have Mod Podge, but you do want to go back through and wipe out some of that excess so that it doesn't cross-contaminate into your other colors. I'm just going to go through and do that for a second, because there are some spaces where I see what looks like some heavy green, and I don't want that to get into my brown in other areas. So I'm just going through and wiping it off with my little paintbrush here real quick before I get started into the next layer. The static connectivity of the cups tend to hold on to just a little bit, but as you can see, there's not much overfall, not even enough to really color the paper. But I am gonna change it out and pull my other paper up so that we don't get these little green sprinkles in the brown bottle. So give me just a second. Okay, so now that that is all in place, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my glitter so that when it's time to pour, we don't have any issues with that. All right, so taking my dry brush, and first you want to go through and make sure your brush is pretty wet on the tip. Make sure it gets nice and saturated, or you're not going to be able to pick up enough Mod Podge. Okay, so for my brown, I'm going to go in and still making those funky like loops, but usually my brown is my undercolor. So these, I am making it look like the green ran over top of the brown. Then I dip my brush again. And let's do this one over here. And we're gonna continue it up on the other side of this green. So that it looks as though it is connected. Tap it with my brush. Sorry about that, guys. Then I'm gonna hold it over and blow. As you see, this is what gets left on the cup. Pretty much only the areas that have Mod Podge on them with just a little bit of like overlay, but we can get rid of that later. That's okay. So I just go in and create sort of pointed oval shapes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it really doesn't matter if it's streaky. It doesn't really matter on that, because once you get all of your colors on and get everything going, you're not gonna be able to see it like that. All right, so trying to keep this in a good vision for you guys, as well as keeping it where I can see it too. All right, so the next one we're gonna paint over the side right here to kind of show you how to keep them in line, just like it was a piece of fabric folded over. Then we drizzle there, and then I turn it over and make sure that the little indent in the bottom of the cup gets good coverage. And I always tap close to where the glitter is with the edge of the brush. As you can see, I'm going right over. Right there, there was a little area that didn't really seem to get much coverage. And because there wasn't really any glitter there, or because there was minimal glitter, I could fix it. And see, now all of that has gone out of my brush. I'm gonna go back in and dab here. All right, and then after the blow away, we're left with a nice, cute little cornered edge. All right, so we're just gonna keep going here. We're gonna extend this brown spot out of this green spot. So just paint the Mod Podge very carefully, connecting it to the green. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Tap, tap. Blow, blow. Blow again, because that one didn't work completely. And here we are. So I'm going to continue doing this around the cup. The good thing about this method is if you don't like the way that one of your swirlies is turning out, you can easily wipe it off. And redo it. So I didn't like the way that one was going. So I just went in, wiped it off, and here we go. See? Not every one of your brown spots has to be attached to a green. But that's how it's working. And then we're going to put one along this line. And you want to stop on your line. And now we've got that lovely spot. For the most part, you want them going side to side. It's okay to have one or two little places that are like facing up or they're a little fatter upwards, but you don't want tons of that happening. All right. So even though I feel like I've got enough brown, got brown sticking out everywhere, I still don't feel like it's actually enough though. But we're gonna pause it right here and move on to our gold color. All right, so we're back. I've let the cup sit for a little over an hour. Went and cleaned up my space, as you can see, and we are back. This, guys, I forgot to mention in the beginning, is actually just parchment paper. I get the roll of parchment paper and tear off pieces. So it's just your basic Reynolds kitchen parchment paper. So now we've got the brown and the green down. So next I'm going to put in my black because I don't want to put my black over my gold because it is the lightest color and it will definitely leave a piece or two straggling and it will show, always. All right, and I changed out my brush because I do rinse them out and reuse my brushes, and I reuse the plate. As you can tell, I just put my Mod Podge back a while ago, and then I put another little splotch on the plate, and we're just gonna keep on going. So I'm gonna put in now some little dollops of black. Get my brush wet here. All right, so I'm gonna put in some little dollops of black. And I say that because it's gonna be a lot smaller than the squiggles. The black in camo is not as defined when it's the green camo, when it's army camo, it's not as defined. There's just little tiny bits of black. So we're gonna go back through now and put that black in there. So I'm just gonna find some small spaces. Sometimes this is where I'll fill in nooks and crannies. And it's okay if it goes just a tiny bit over where you were doing it before. I forgot to turn the other light back on. That would help. All right, so just kind of going in and putting that in there, and then we'll sprinkle on the onyx. Tap, 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 and as you can see, there's my first little black dot. So, I'm gonna go through and put little touches of black throughout the design. Now, some places may be a little larger, because they don't have to be completely little. But you don't want to find yourself putting in lots of like squared shapes. You want it rounded. You want points. You don't want squares. Let that sit a second. My darker colors, I do want to let sit on there just a little bit longer so that they can really attach to the Mod Podge. Give it a second to soak it in a little bit. Think about how it feels. Get accustomed to it, you know. Love it. And there's a tiny little dot I missed. So I'm going to go back in and fill that in. I thought about it for a second and thought about filling it in with the gold. But no, that's not what I want to do. All right, so there's that piece. Now let's go over here. We do also want the black to connect into the bottom. So like I'm going to pull it through right here where this little tiny hole is. And this one wasn't as thick. So there will be places that you're definitely going to need to go over again. But you don't have to coat the entire thing over again, which is the great part. You'll be able to go in and tell where it's super light and where you just need to add a little touch of Mod Podge over top of the glitter to finish getting it the coverage you want. Grab some Mod Podge. And since we brought it up, let's bring it out and around because we do want a little black on the bottom here. Trying to make sure you guys can still see that. But with this video, you're getting to hear me kind of go through my thought process of how I'm making sure that the design gets the coverage that I'm looking for. I just kind of go through and I sit back and I assess. All right, so I'm going to wipe some of this Mod Podge off because I'm going to go in and fill a little bit of gap in here with this black. So there's a little bitty streak. In little places like that, yes, I will mash on it to try to make sure I don't have to do it more than once. Blow the excess. All right. Let's put some here. Now I am kind of going to do their own little blobs, but they're going to be small little blobs of black. Not anything the size of the greens and browns. So now I'm going to fast forward and we will Okay, so we're gonna call the black done. There's one thing that I've noticed through working it, and I feel like there could be a little more brown. So I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add some more brown because the brown just doesn't feel big and prevalent enough to me. So I'm gonna clean this up and I'm gonna come back with the brown. Okay, so the reason that I say that I don't feel like I have enough brown is the cup that everyone fell in love with. Let me pull it over here. Is this one. Okay, and at this point, I feel like I need to put some more brown in this one to match up. Well, actually, there's more gold in this one. So maybe I just need to start on with gold. Compare and contrast. I did put more green in this one because that was what I felt like was my flaw with this one. But I'm going to end up with about the same amount of gold. Maybe that's why my brown feels like less. I'm going to put another spot or two of brown, and then we'll move on to the gold. Just because I feel like it needs to be in there a little more. And that is the beauty of personal designing. You can kind of do what you want to do, how you want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to go back in and fatten out some of the pieces that are already here to add to the existing element. It's going to say, come on off of there a little better than that now. The static cling is real with this one, y'all. It really likes to hold on to that brown. All right, so that feels a little better. Let's make this brown touch into these greens a little more. So as you can see, it's a process. As I talk with my paintbrush and mouth. Yeah. Yeah, Cletus, I like that better. Why didn't y'all tell me? So I'm just gonna kind of follow the lines of what I already have and extend on them. And that's gonna help me get the definition, or the more defined brown that I'm looking for, I do believe. We're not increasing the number of spots, we're increasing the size of the spots that we have. I'd rather have to increase the size of my spots than have them too large. Just gonna sprinkle that on. Oh, I missed a spot. There we go. Yes. Looking much better already. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I need to be doing it on camera. So I stick it up to my nose and forget about you guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is the first time ever really sharing my creativity from this angle. I got a new unipod that connects to like everything. So you guys are attached to a bookshelf. Just saying. Let me get some of the gunky off of my brush from all of the Mod Podge. Because sometimes they start getting thick where it starts to dry. That's okay, just wipe it off. Your little puddle of Mod Podge over here ain't going nowhere. And trust me, you don't need very much at all. So, what you guys think? Is it looking better the more fat it gets? At first, it really does kind of look like Donkey Doo. But then, as you go along and really start getting it filled in, it's like, oh, yeah. I can tell what that's supposed to be now. Looks like those two just covered the rest of that one up, don't it? The way these overlap on top, it looks like it overlaps on top of the brown. All right, what other one can we fatten up here? We'll give this one a little more fluff. Do-do-do. Shake, rattle and roll. All right, we need to fatten up the peanut down here. Adjust how I'm holding it, depending on what I'm attempting to do. And the beauty of letting a couple layers dry at a time is being able to rest your hand on the bottom of this beast when you're trying to get something painted on it. Just perfect. Yeah, my Mod Podge is usually over here, guys, so I keep trying to dip it. Let's bring, no. Oh, phone's ringing, pause. Okay, got a phone call for an appointment reminder from my daughter. So, sorry about that. Now, did you guys notice we were only gone literally a second? Or a part of a second. So, I feel like that might be better on the brown. I don't want to over exhaust my brown, I guess. But I don't want as much gold as I had on it last time. Me and gold just aren't best buddies like that, y'all. All right, so now I'm going to let this dry before I go back in with my gold, because now the gold is literally going to be touching every single piece of glitter on this cup, except for, like, you know, the centers. But, so yes, that's where we're at this point. I'm gonna let that sit for about an hour now, and we will be back. Okay guys, so we are back. I have let the cup sit and dry for well more than an hour. It is now evening time, but we're gonna go in and we're gonna put our champagne gold glitter in all the little teeny tiny spots that are left. So everything that has that gray color to it at this point is gonna get gold now. So I'm gonna do a couple of these with you guys where you can hear me, and then I'm gonna speed it up and get it done. So this has been an all-day project for me. The actual length of the clips up until this point are about an hour. So when you're doing this tumbler, be prepared to invest. So there's our first gold stripe. So we just kind of go through and fill in all and any places that don't have glitter already. You butt all of your lines in. You don't leave any blank gray spaces. You want to make sure that each and every bit is filled in and defined. And when you get to the little cracks and crevices like this, you kind of use a lighter touch with your brush. Get those little cracks and crevices without making your lines too wide. So we're going to go through. Okay, sorry about that little momentary interruption. I did go ahead and get that wrapped in through here and around this side. I had to go correct my daughter because she's been a loudmouth in the kitchen, but y'all know how that goes. Kiddos, gotta love them. Each and every one. What was that movie, y'all? Where they was talking about the kids, each and every one. I don't remember, though. I don't remember. 10 points for whoever can call it in the comments. Okay. Here we go. My teenage daughter is actually cooking supper in the kitchen. And both my teenage daughters are cooking supper in the kitchen. It's breakfast night. Mom's been feeling sick today. So I'm just gonna go through real quick and finish the very bottom, because at this point, that's all that's on the bottom that needs to be done. There we go. Okay. So at this point, that's all on the bottom that needs to be done. So just wanted to go through and get that real quick. So that's what the bottom of it looks like. It's really coming together. And it's really hard when you're doing this design to see, especially if you're not like crafty hearted and like you just picked this up as a hobby. It's really hard to see what the end result is going to come out looking like. Just going to go through, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. blow it off. Make sure that edge is good. Yep. All right, and we just keep on going, guys. So I'm going to finish this one little part with you right here, and then I'm going to speed it up. If there's something that I really need to tell you guys, I will bring it back where you guys can hear me. But until then, after this one, we're just going to go ahead and speed you guys up. Alright, so there's that part done. Now we're going to speed you up. Alright guys, so we have successfully glittered the entire cup. So now it is my turn once again to let my little cup here sit here and dry. And then I will apply a second coat. I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. You guys know how to do second coats. Just going to go over it and do the exact same thing that we've already done. So I'll go over all of the brown spots with brown, all of the green with green, black with black, gold with gold. And then we will go through and put our last layer, or our first layer of epoxy on it, and put decals on it from there. So here we go. Hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, where we will be doing more crafty and creative things like this. This is our first actual tutorial, so I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but it's our first, so really excited to crank this out, get this out there for you guys, and show you guys how I done my camo tumbler. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you so much, and thumbs up.